But REKT is not only the drinks. It is a whole ecosystem of REKT, basically. Where does, for you, REKT come from, and what is it right now?
Yeah, so look, REKT started out as the REKT Guy NFT project, which was like a random, profile picture collection I made.
A meme.
Yeah, a meme that I made like 3 years ago. It was a free mint. We didn't charge anything for it. And honestly, like, I was just kind of messing around in my spare time. I spent my evenings and weekends making it, and I just launched it and I thought it would be at zero. I didn't think it would be worth anything, right? And because in 2022, when we launched it, everything crashed, people got wrecked. I think it kind of captured this moment in time quite well. And, we had this crazy bear market for the next 2 years. And it's almost like people found it a place to drown their sorrows. It was like home for everyone who was wrecked, basically. So over those 2 years, we've just built like a very, very strong community just from like this meme and, people being on Discord and people still sticking around in crypto, even though, we were all down really bad. And I think that's when we realized that, like, okay, there's something here to this movement. Like, REKT is, sure, there's REKT Guy, but, everyone in crypto understands REKT. Everyone has been wrecked. And it's not just within crypto. Like, people, I think, can relate to that word and resonate with it, even outside of crypto. So there was something powerful about that, I think, as a movement or as a cult. And that's when we realized there was an opportunity to perhaps do something beyond just like a meme or an NFT project or just our Discord. And we thought, okay, when we did some merch drops and we did some events, and always we'd have loads of people turn up and it was sold out and everything. So we thought, it's kind of like, it could be cool as a brand. So we then thought, okay, how do we get this brand with this logo in as many places as possible? Like, what we need to have some sort of physical product. But, you have clothing, people have different tastes. It's not really that universal. And with REKT Guy, the NFT, people, the guy's drinking a drink. So we thought, let's make drinks because they're cheap to manufacture. We can mass produce them. And there are so many crypto events throughout the world during the year that we can just, send our drinks to these events, and it becomes a very natural, like, organic way to market it. So that's kind of how we ended up on drinks. And then, we launched the drinks last year. We launched a token, buy the drinks, get the token. Started off as a meme coin, but we market it now as a brand coin, and things just really took off from there. Way beyond our expectations, I think. But I think the success really is from building this community. I think for the 3 years prior to launching a token, like, that was very important, because if we launched this idea without any existing community, it never would have worked. We almost needed that bear market to build that community, if that makes sense.
Well, for sure, bear markets create strong communities, and that's why people are still connected with certain layer ones that are completely dead at this point.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think the first time that I actually saw the REKT drinks was when I took the flight from Dubai to Singapore. I think it's nearly a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
With the black and gold ones.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yep.
How much of an impact did other KOLs have into the brand, or did you use any? Because for me, it sounds like you kind of took a very Web 2 angle into building this community, where you just product place the product into very technical and tactical places, and from there it starts to blow up.
Yeah, that was the main idea. I'm not really a fan of the typical KOL style marketing, especially for something that you consume, because it's not really that organic, right? And the good thing about KOLs is that you will get someone with a lot of followers will speak about what you want them to speak about, and you will reach an audience. But it's even more powerful or impactful if it can happen organically, where, someone just sees it by chance, or, sees it out there, or hears it from word of mouth without seeing someone post about it. I think for me, like, when I see a lot of Web 2 marketing and influencers and stuff on Instagram, for example, if I see someone doing a paid promotion, it doesn't really make me want to buy the product. But, if I hear my friend say, oh, this was really good, you should try it, then I'm more likely to do it. So for us, it was like, okay, let's just send the drinks to as many places as possible, try and get them in front of people so they can try them. And then maybe someone's like, oh yeah, I saw that drink on the plane, or I saw it in London, or, in Dubai, or whatever it is, and I tried it and I liked it, and I kind of seen the brand now. It's it takes longer to build something that way because it's not direct. It's not like, hey, see this, I bought this token, this is good, this is going to do this. It's not the same style of marketing, and it may not work, or it may take a very long time to be impactful. But I think if you can pull it off, and if you have some patience around it, it's much more powerful, especially for a brand like ours, I think.
Fair enough, yeah. It's also, I think overall, compared to previous cycle, this cycle, the impact of KOLs and marketing in general has changed a lot. I think, well, you're also working with Raoul Paul. He's a very strong voice, connected himself to Sui, which has a positive impact for Sui. It's also changing into more of a Web2 dynamic, which has a better impact for projects or companies. And then a lot of KOLs are actually not needed or necessary anymore, as a lot of them are copycats anyways. But if we talk about KOLs, you yourself are a brand too. How does it feel for you to all of a sudden be a very important player for the entire REKT ecosystem and just on social media?
Yeah, I've had to change some things because previously, I'd speak a lot about trading and markets and different tokens and coins and stuff. And, when you have your own project, and I guess like I'm the number one KOL for REKT, right? Like I'm the person who speaks about it the most. And because it's my project, people are looking to see what I'm saying or doing about it. So when you start speaking, or when you are speaking about other stuff, it sort of dilutes the attention that your own project gets, I think. And I didn't want to be one of those guys who, he only speaks about REKT, nothing else, because I felt like people found some of the other stuff that I was speaking about quite valuable. So I didn't want to lose that. But as REKT got bigger and bigger, it was clear to me, it's like, look, I just have to kind of be all in on this now and, not talk about, talk about majors, whatever, but I can't really start saying, hey, I think this other coin is a good trade because, what we're trying to do is get people into REKT, right? I'm not trying to not say, hey, you guys should sell REKT and buy this thing because this thing looks better. So it's been a bit of a transition for me. And, sometimes there are things that I would love to say in terms of markets or what I think, but really, I think REKT is one of the biggest opportunities I've probably ever had in my life, and I have to really, really be all in on it. If that means going all in, it means going all in from every single angle possible, I think. So that's the view and stance that I've taken. And, for the last 3 or 4 months, I haven't spoken about anything else other than REKT. I've actually stopped trading pretty much. All I've done is work on REKT. But it's paid its rewards. The token has done really well. We've had some good sellouts. And I think people are, on the outside, are seeing that energy or seeing that shift in momentum. And that's, for me, when I think about coins or equities or anything that I want to buy, where it's founder-led, you want to see that founder is all in on it. You want to see that that's all he's doing, sleeps, eats, REKT, nothing else. And then that's when I realized, okay, I've got to be the same. If I'm thinking about what I would put my money in, that's what I would want to see. So it's been a big shift in energy from me in the last few months. And part of that, I think, is because, we just had a lot of very interesting phone calls and people reaching out to us and a good feeling behind what we were doing and some very strong momentum. And that's when I realized I would be stupid to not put my everything into this opportunity because it's probably the biggest opportunity I'll ever get.
I mean, I truly admire the way that you're talking about it, because we see, I think hundreds of projects on a monthly basis with our venture capital. And one of the key ones is the founder actually putting all the time into the project, or do they have side businesses or not? Maybe if it is pre-seed, it makes sense to not have all your time dedicated towards the project. You just need income yourself. But once you get towards a further stage, you want a founder to be all in and just believe in the project and do not have any escape routes out of there. But for us as a VC, we should also run the numbers a little bit. And in REKT's case, it's worth 350 million or so. It actually went to 600, I think, 500-600.
Yeah.
If someone comes to you that's an institutional or a random guy on the streets, how do you explain the valuation to those people?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I think it's important to understand that REKT is what we call a brand coin. And I say brand coins are a subcategory of meme coins. What's the definition of meme coins? Sure, like they're coins that represent memes, but the real definition is that they don't have any utility and they don't receive or benefit from any direct cash flows. They trade purely based on sentiment, human feeling, like how funny do I find this meme or whatever. It's an emotional, sentimental thing. And when it's something like that, like art, for example, you cannot value it with a model. There's no model-driven way to value it. You can't do a DCF analysis on it. You can't do, revenue multiple, whatever it is. There's no model-driven way to value it. It's just human sentiment. And that, I think, is a very important concept. That's why something like Pepe can go to billions of dollars or Doge can go to billions of dollars. It's why something like Beeple's 5,000 days can sell for $69 million, right? It's just human emotion, sentiment. You can't place a number on it. So the same concept actually, in my opinion, exists with brands, right? Why would someone buy a Red Bull over a less expensive generic energy drink? They're buying it for the brand. Like, why would you spend 3 times your money on a Nike hoodie versus a plain hoodie? Because you just have you have the sentimental attachment to like the Nike brand, right? And it's, that same concept applies with brands. And this is why I think it's a very powerful thought process to apply to tokens, because it's the same thing as meme coins where like people, okay, I really like the REKT brand. I'm not buying it because I did like a cash flow analysis on it. I'm buying it because I like the brand and I want to be a part of it. And I was in the bear market and I had my REKT NFT and I feel like a part of this movement. Like, but it's a brand with a product. But I really feel like I'm part of that brand from a sentimental standpoint. And so when you put that angle on it, there's 350 million, 600 million, billion, whatever the number is. That's just a reflection of the sentiment around it. And that concept actually exists in traditional corporate finance. Like every company has a line item on their balance sheet called goodwill, which happens when a company gets acquired, and it's the premium paid above its net asset value. So Coca-Cola, for example, has an $18 billion goodwill line item on its balance sheet from all its acquisitions that it's paid a premium for. And accountants usually equate that to the intangible value of the brand. They say, this is like, you would pay extra for, Coca-Cola is buying whatever, let's just Pepsi, or bad example, Coca-Cola is buying, Coca-Cola is buying like Poppy, for example, the Poppy drink. They're paying like 2 times its value because that's like the intangible value of the brand. That then goes into its balance sheet. It's a real number. That's considered like a traditional way to account for something. The concept of goodwill has been around for over a century, but it's just a number that is intangible, it's fixed, it's governed by a one-off transaction by 2 parties in a historical moment in time, and maybe it gets impaired by an accountant over the years. It's intangible, right? But this concept is the same as like a brand coin or what we're talking about, except in crypto, you can trade it. There's a market for it. Millions of dollars of volume will go through every single day, and you can choose to buy it. If you disagree with the value, you can choose to short it. It's active, and that's how I'm kind of like equating the two things. It's like, it's not a new concept that we're using here, but it's an example of how crypto has allowed us to trade these pre-existing concepts that have actually been around for decades, if not centuries.